Good afternoon. Back after a weekend at the shore and feeling very inspired. So far I've got just two colors in mind, she and sunflower, and then I'll go from there. Add a little bit of cherry to that. Make it a little bit more pink for some variation. And hi, Frankie. Thank you for the rose. We'll be painting roses tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to join, the link to the Google Meet, where I'll be hosting my little workshop for free, it's in my bio. I think I'm gonna go with one that's a little bit on the pink side. How was your weekend? That is nice. Yes, it was really nice. I spent some time on the beach reading a book. Spent time with my friend's family. Always nice to see them. They're such nice people. I did. I painted orchids for you. That was, let's see, Friday before I left for my weekend. I have them right here off to the side. I remembered you said orchids in orange and pink, so I did that. I'll show it to you. They were very fun to paint. Yes, if TikTok saved the video, sometimes they have issues with saving my lives, but if everything saved properly, I should be able to download it and save it as a shorter video. I can do that after I finish painting this with you. But let me just get these petals down and then I'll show you the outcome. Okay, here they are. This is what we did on Friday. I had a lot of fun with that. It's a little hard to tell the little details in the center and on the petals. They are metallic, but the texture of the paper is kind of getting in the way of seeing that. Also, this lighting situation. Yes, thank you. I don't paint orchids very often, and I really enjoyed this, so thank you for the suggestion. This is the same paper, different color palette. I think I'm going to kind of outline where I want my vase, and then I will get some stems in there. So something like that. Just a hint of shape so that I can add in some stems. I can go back with something slightly darker. Some green in there. This is Bauhung. It is textured cold pressed paper. It's my longtime favorite for loose florals. I also love it for landscapes. Pretty much any flower that I think is good enough for sale, it's gonna be on this paper. It's a cute little size as well. I get beautiful bleeds. Thank you, Abby. Hi, Luna. It's good to see you again. Bauhung. I will show you the cover of it. It's also linked in my bio for my Amazon favorites. It's frequently bought by me. At some point last year, it was like every month that I'd buy one. Yes, a vase. I painted a really simple one on Friday. Let me see if I can get any angle for that beautiful metallic color. Anyway, yes, actually it is Magical Meme. If you want the original, it's $20 on my Etsy shop for this one, for the orchids, for any of my paintings in this size, like this one with metallic detailing on that. These almost anemone style flowers, or this one. So same sort of style there. And they're all for sale. Currently my Etsy shop just has one image, but if you want to DM me with something specific that you'd like, I can make a listing for you. I include shipping with the $20. I'm thinking now that I'd like to add a tiny bit of golden in those centers. It's a sort of chunkier gold. Oh, Jess, I absolutely love painting peonies, yes. I can go grab a few after I add this gold detailing so you can see my peonies. They're one of my favorite flowers to paint along with roses. Okay, so this is all paint from KMS. Nightlight, hello, we've made it. I'm thinking once all of these petals are dry, for sure dry, because this paper does take a while to dry up, I'll add in a few little details for the veins. Let me grab the sort of daisy-like ones. Not exactly like this, but in a similar style, adding a little bit of gold detailing into some of those petals. So you should be able to see the bit of golden. The sun is poking in now. Great. Distiller's edition. Yes, painting again, back from a weekend away at the shore and feeling refreshed. So I will show you a few of my paintings. I'm sure I have some peonies in this pile. We've got something like a abstract poppy maybe, and then some daisies. Got some roses, almost peony-like roses in some places there. Anemone with gold. Oh, you have to work? Have a good time. Hope you enjoy it. Some poppies in a sort of pea for poppies. Very loose florals here. Color was inspired by peonies actually. Kept it loose there. Some poppies. Violet wreath with silver leaves. This one I really love. I don't use that chrome color enough. And that purple is almost velvety. You'll be at work too. Don't worry about that. I'm happy I do the 2 times though, so you can at least see me in the afternoons. Let me see. I know I've got plenty of peonies painted. Or probably just on my Instagram page. If you scroll, you'll see the closest one. The ombre red flowers. This one? That one was watercolor ink. This one I think is the one that I currently have listed on my Etsy shop, because I think the metallic leaves are just such a elegant addition. So sometimes I just go for extra detailing with my metallics. In this case, I layered it onto the watercolor, trying to enhance them in areas. Thank you, Frankie. So I had a lot of fun with this one. And then the same color is inside the flowers as well, kind of completing them, I think. It's a really nice arrangement of 3 flowers, too. Here are some peonies. Not always the most loose out of mine, because I kind of went in and layered. This one I was inspired by a different painting. So this backdrop and flowers in a vase, but really enjoy the two colors in there, that sort of buff titanium and a little pinky purple in there. And then I've been enjoying the vases, I think, since I did this one. Azaleas. Some orchids. That one definitely inspired the orchid painting here. Similar shapes in there. I do love the free form of it. At this time, I do only sell originals. I don't have a printer that I'm comfortable with for selling prints. So always an original, and I will take commissions. So if you like this orchid painting, but your favorite color is purple, I could redo it in purple. It would not be exactly the same because, you know, I'm painting an original again. So that's just what I've been doing for myself, you know, whatever I like to paint in the moment. And then if you want it, you can have it. Honeysuckle. I think I've only painted honeysuckle once, and that's probably in a sketchbook because that would have been early in my painting career. I guess it's a career, sure. My painting hobby. The first year I painted, I kind of experimented with all different types of flowers. So I think I've only painted it once. I could put that on my list to try again. I think you and somebody else have also said honeysuckle, and thank you. It's funny, I went to the shore after I painted this. It sort of looks like sparkling sand. I was going to do some blue detail as well for some summer nails, and got whisked away instead. So if you are interested in part 2 of the workshop, this is what we worked on last Saturday. So just starting with the loose watercolor. Yes, Sarah, actually that was going to be my third. So roses tomorrow, I was going to show you how I paint dahlias as the third flower. So this is the anemone that we did, an anemone in profile, and then we worked on a little composition, and then went into some ink for the details here around the petals, and some leaf work as well. So that's what we did in about an hour. If we have more than one person tomorrow, that would be lovely. If not, I'm okay with just a very small group, but we'll do some roses. I did show you my style of rose in case you wanted to see that again. I should have it out. I don't know why I didn't just leave it off to the side, but this is one style with a center. Sometimes I do them without centers. I can grab another stack of paintings to show you some different style of roses. And thank you, Jess. Thank you, Diana. Okay. My other stack of paintings. Hydrangeas. Not my favorite to paint, but I enjoyed that one. It's got some gold in it. This is a little bit looser than my usual style, but you can see the rose without a second color in there. Another rose, this time with cornflowers and some eucalyptus. Thank you, Jojo. This is my usual style of rose. I'd say this is what I go for when I'm on automatic pilot. So this is my favorite type of rose to do. So I'll break down all the steps I go from the very beginning to the very end of the rose. I think the most difficult thing when painting a rose is to know when you're supposed to stop. So how do I know when my rose is done and not to add more layers? So I'll be tackling all of that. I don't even think I took a picture of this painting. Very loose, abstract style. Again, more roses. I should leave this one to the side for tomorrow as a reference. I really like this one. very excited to get into more fall paintings now that we're creeping into the second half of August. Some peonies. This was with that pointed oval brush, so a much larger brush makes much larger petals. And then this paper is handmade paper. It's more loose abstract flowers, sort of violet inspired. Again, some metallic details, some science in there as well. This one, yes, handmade paper. This is from Leather Village. This is their, I think it's 150 GSM paper. They have a few other ones. I have done lavender. I've done lavender alone in a little bouquet, and then I've done lots of lavender as sort of accents, so similar to this. Lavender by itself, I think it's one of the more easy ones. If you have a brush that is on the smaller side, so like around 4, it feels very easy for me to paint lavender with one of these. So I guess it depends on, you tried, it was a bit hard. Well, if it's like your first flower that you're trying it on, you know, it takes a while to master what the petals are supposed to look like, I think, in like spacing, right? If you add too much white space or too little white space, it can get tricky. So I'm sure I have some lavender in here. I have not looked through the stack in a while, so I've forgotten what's in here. More roses. Again, different style rose. Thank you. This was for painting challenge. I don't even remember the exact name for this. It was some wildflower. Hibiscus. I just saw a really beautiful hibiscus bloom that was enormous yesterday, so it's nice to see this one again. Some more ink accents. So honeysuckle, lavender. I think I can remember those two to try and do. Let's see. So I've got 2 different sizes. Right, I've got this size. I believe it's like 5 by 7 for these. I have a nice bubble mailer that fits this perfectly. And then let me get the second size. I think, well, I have this one. This is about the same size. I have this size right in front of me. I have the paper. Let's see if it tells me. Oh, I did. I looked up those passion flowers. I did. And it was a little bit intimidating, but I think that could be really fun in a loose style. The paper of this size, that's a bit bigger, it's about 8.5 by 6 inches. So a little bit on the taller side. Yes, beginner flowers, even something like this, sort of abstract, 3, 4 or 5 petals, something like that. I'd say that's good for a beginner. You just kind of add a darker wash of color to the center and then pull out with your wet brush and kind of use a dilute color to make your petals. I think that's a fun one. But lavender, yeah, lavender is a good first flower too, sure. It really depends what your brush is, I think. See, this is a parrot tulip. I avoided them for a while. Dandelions. I found them hard to paint. I actually painted them with paint made from dandelions. That's in my book, my vintage book. So this is what I'm talking about for like a first time flower. So some darker orange, brown, gold in this case, dots or little lines for center, and then pulling out petals with a brush of maybe a 6 or 7 or an 8, something that's a bit wider, to get your petals going. Because then you can use a very similar stroke for leaves as your petals. Let's see, some more peonies, a slightly different style. Peony in a cup with a bee. Mother's Day, I think. I was going for something for Mother's Day. This is paint made from mangoes, avocados, and peaches. Yes, dandelions before the seed. That's exactly right. That's what I did. I did 3 different views. So that beautiful yellow, short petals. That was pretty much an okay beginner flower, I think. That puff is a bit difficult because you're dealing with something that's like a gray to white tone, right? Lavender adjacent, I'd say. I know it's not, but this is also a really good beginner-friendly flower. Some long stalk, so kind of just brush strokes. I do hand make birthday cards. Yes, I do. It's funny you should say that because I have a friend who's turning 30. I really hope he's not watching right now, but I was going to paint his card, a sort of video game level up. I think boy birthday cards are a bit more difficult, but I think that's going to be a good one. But cupcakes, yes, I've done them. Ballerina with a floral tutu, I've done that for birthday card as well. This is a fun one if you want some type of ocean theme, right? Jellyfish and peony. You practice, definitely. If you practice enough, it comes to you. So I didn't think I was a creative person when I started. And once you've practiced it, it becomes easier to be that, right? Just like anything. I think this is also a really cute birthday card. Yes, level 50 does sound like you're ready to take on some very challenging level. Yes, lots of experience in leveling up. I love that. My dad's actually turning 80, so that could be a cute one for him too. But I think I'm going to do, because he loves astronomy, I think I'm going to do a Leo, so a constellation with gold watercolor. Yes, waffle cones are very yummy. Enchantress, that's wonderful. So I'm going to do some background wash of like indigo and Payne's gray and have some metallic splatter and then make his constellation. The Leo's not too complicated. Thank you, Kat. I love that. Thank you for the hearts. I think this might also be a fun beginner flower, a very loose style poppy, kind of going along the lines of that 5-petal flower. So I just rolled around my brush. Non-floral paintings. I do have a few. They might be in this pile, they might not be. I've done a few loose landscapes, ocean landscapes, mostly, some mountainous ones as well. They're probably in here, but on any given day, I'm probably painting florals because that's just what makes me very happy. So here's some tulips. I painted them on TikTok Live a few days ago. Let me see if I can find a landscape in here. Chances are there is at least one. Thank you, Kat. I love this one that I painted with you guys with that oval brush. I would love to paint this again with different colors. So this is just such a beautiful summery painting. A little tiny bit of detail, the metallic really enhances that. Oh, here we go. Landscape. You were going to paint your brush holder. That sounds like a fun project. Thank you. Yes, this paper is, again, handmade paper by Leather Village. I believe this is the 400 GSM paper, so it's a bit more sturdy. You can already see it doesn't bend quite as much. I really enjoyed painting this. So pretty much just one color for the ocean. This is Adore by KMS, and then a little yellow in there. No, I didn't. So that's where I started my painting. I did a little bit of a circle here with the pink, and then brushed it out with water, and then started quickly making my background half of the sky. I left it just as a complete circle of white and finished up the first layer of the sky. I didn't like how it just sort of looked like an empty quarter. So I went in with my second layer and I added a bit of clouds to break it up. I don't have any masking fluid. This paper also makes it really easy to leave some white space behind as you do a little bit of dry brushing. So that helps making ripples and things. I do love how this one turned out. I should have more landscapes in here, maybe one or two more in there. Really love this little arrangement and these colors. Handmade paints for that. If you've been with me for a while, you've probably seen some of these paintings before. Again, I really like this one. Again, a beginner painting. It might look a little complex, but this is really just simple brush strokes and then going in with a pen. Casey for Fire. Well, I'm happy that you're here. Do I paint animals? I'd say I do paint some insects with my florals. That's probably the closest I get. I used to paint more detailed animals using Allison Lyon art as a guide. She's an awesome painter of all things wildlife. So if you're really into painting animals, I'd say give her a look if you haven't seen her already. Allison Lyon art. She's on YouTube. You can find her Instagram as well. Yes, I told you about her, Frankie. I'd say these sort of abstract florals are also good for a beginner. You kind of just mix up a fatter petal with some skinnier ones, and I think you can make flowers out of that. You like drawing, painting flowers, trees, landscapes. Yes, I'd say that's some of my favorite things as well. Trees, specifically like pine trees in a metallic blue, I really love them. That was a card that I did last year for the holidays. I painted so many of them and I never got tired of them. So this is what I mean, a beginner-friendly stalk variation, like how many petals you have in proximity to the little branches. You can get them very clustered or separate them. Watercolor creams that come in marker form. I've never even heard of them. If you have a link to them, you can send me them. I'll check them out. Another beginner-friendly flower, I think, is a cone flower. So you can start by making that shape for your cone and then pull out some skinny petals, very similar to making leaves. So if you figured out a leaf, I think this one's a really easy one. Another one in more summery flowers. I think brush pens, is that what you're talking about? I have brush pens. I don't really use them. I think because my brushes that I have, I feel so comfortable with that it feels like Thank you, Frankie. It feels a little bit uncontrolled when I do a brush pen. I don't know. I'm going to leave this rose off to the side for tomorrow as well. I like that one. This is sort of my how to make a cone flower with metallic details. Not a brush. Okay, so definitely send me what you're talking about so I can give it a look. Now I'm really intrigued. I always like finding new watercolor supplies. Here's that lavender. There we go. I knew I'd get some lavender. So in this case, I use the tip of my brush, kind of making some marks in some clusters, and I left it intentionally very loose, and I went back in with some ink and just added some of these sort of oval shapes into clusters to make the lavender. I really like how those came out. And that's what I mean by adding lavender as sort of an accent flower or a filler flower. So my main focus was these two. You saw a cool painting at the doctor's today. Oh, that's awesome. I'm also like that when I'm out and about and I see floral paintings or in the background of a TV show, right? And it's hanging in some room. My eyes will now go to that. And that didn't happen before I painted with watercolors. So here are some fruits. This was during a workshop week. Let's see, another workshop there, an abstract painting. Yes, I love watercolors. This one, Frankie, this fruit one or the botanical abstract? They're both very different, I'd say. I do have gouache as for other mediums. I've never done acrylic or oil. Yes. I have peaches here from Georgia. I thought this would be cute for a song inspiration challenge that I was taking part in. So this was Georgia on my mind. No, I've never used Bristol board paper. No. The two papers that I've got in all of this, this is the larger sheets of paper. My favorite brand of watercolor. Ooh, I have a lot to say on that one. And then this one that is now almost dry is bow hung paper. This is my favorite, I think. And then Leather Village does the handmade watercolor paper that you see once in a while in there. Favorite watercolors. So I've got a few favorites. Handmade watercolors. If you like metallic paints, I'd check out KMS. I think they're beautiful in their unique range of colors, and her golds are just stunning. Whenever I want gold watercolor, I know I'll find the perfect one in her collection. And then Boulder Colors makes paint made from plants and food waste, which I think is just very cool as an idea. And the paints are so creamy and beautiful and such a beautiful range of colors. I used to paint with Winsor & Newton when I first started. And then that color just didn't, it seemed a little too almost artificial if I was just using one color from a tube, or it didn't have enough personality. And so something like this, that red is called Cherry Pie. I didn't have to mix to get that color, and I think it's fabulous. So you can use it very dark, get a very saturated color, and then water it down, and it's so dynamic. So that happened to be a KMS color that I showed you. There are a few others that I like, but those are just a couple that I use all the time. This was a cute little arrangement too. Some vases and some minis, which is one of the top tips I always say. If you're a beginner and you're a little bit intimidated by painting, paint small. So some cute little lavender inspired florals there. One of my favorite things to do when I don't know what to paint is take a color that I like and splatter paint, and then from those splatters create florals. So it took me a while to be able to kind of spontaneously create a piece, and I think doing that practice of taking splatter and finding the florals, that's really helped me develop. So Enchantress, you have a friend that just swatches. She never does a painting. I think that would be a very therapeutic little hobby, just seeing a color transition, adding water. I think that would be really fun. I've done that when I don't have a lot of time and I got a new palette and I just want to see it, and it makes me happy just the same. Yes, thank you. The little bottles, the little vases, I really enjoyed that one. Yes, I have painted a tree. Those are my cards from last year that I don't think I saved any. They're on my, oh wait, no, I painted a tree. Hold on. I have that in here. I was thinking I did a lot of trees last year. So I do have that. It's got to be in here. So sets from all over the world. That's really cool. These are my current designs for this year for the holidays. There we go. This tree design has some tree topper, metallic sparkle on it, metallic watercolor. I think that's where it starts. So I painted something like 3, 4, 5, some little rows with varying heights of these. I painted that as one of my designs for last year's cards. It became the Hanukkah card that did well last year. Very therapeutic painting these. I ended up painting something like 30 or 40 for my students last year. And thank you, Sarah. I plan on coming live at around 4 p.m. Eastern for as many days in a row as I can before I have to think about going back to work. And Sunflower, you've got a question there. The palettes, what brand? Sure, yes. And thank you, Frankie. KMS is one paint maker. It's KMS. I love her monthly sets that are really fun to try out her colors and these little sample pans, and she does a great job with her metallics. I find them to be an extremely good quality. Actually, this right here off to the side, this is what I used all last year for my blue metallic trees that I was talking about for my holiday cards. I use this all the time. And so you can see I didn't run out of any color, but I used a lot of them. And that is my favorite silver watercolor, chrome. So you can get these in larger sizes. If you absolutely know you love it and you want something that's bigger, you don't have to get a sample size. And then my bolder colors that I love are made from plant and food waste. So this paint came from avocado pits from a local restaurant, and their food waste becomes now paint that I get to use. Art stores. I like Michael's, actually, if we're talking about in real life. I just like browsing, and it might just be their Halloween decor that makes them my favorite, and not any art supply in particular. I've heard good things about Blick. I have not actually ordered from Blick, but that's because I don't really have much that I need. I have a lot of paint right now. I get brushes from Amazon once in a while. My paper comes from Amazon, whether it's the paper that I have right in front of me, the handmade paper, is all listed in my Amazon favorites. It's just mostly convenience to get stuff right away. I will put this off to the side for the rose workshop as well. I really like that one. Some cute summer motif here. Again, all KMS colors on that one. And this is all Boulder colors, so you can really see my favorites in action. The pen is Sakura of America. That's my favorite. I have that right next to me. KMS and Sakura again. And then that's pretty much just in terms of animals. As often as I paint an animal, it's probably going to be a butterfly with my florals. Oops. Yes, I have not actually painted with Paul Rubens, but I've always heard positive things about them. That yellow was made from Black Eye Susans. That's a Boulder color painting that I did. So yellow is not my personal favorite color to paint with, but this one has a lot of life to it, so I like it. Something that's not florals or landscapes, just a very fun, again, challenge based on songs. So you saw that Peaches for Georgia. This was Heart of Glass. So a song inspiration. I need to paint some bookmarks. So this is going to be put out as a reminder to do more of them. Both for that friend whose birthday is coming up. I want to do maybe some mountains into a waterscape because he likes skiing and the ocean. So something like that is what I'll do for a bookmark. Keep that in mind. This was actually supposed to be carnations, spray carnations. It was a flower based on the Flower Color Guide book. I see lots of artists referring to that. I don't really need a book like that. There's lots of images to see on Upsplash so that you can see flowers in different perspectives. If you would like a reference photo. Happened upon another landscape. This was a very loose one. I'm pretty sure I painted it like this. This was the orientation that I painted it, and then I realized actually it kind of works both ways, but this makes more sense. Gravity is pulling those leaves down. How often do you make mistakes? It depends how you see your mistakes, I think. So I could say it happens every day, where I have a brush stroke that I thought, maybe that's not looking so great, or that color bleed was not what I intended to do. And then I just think of it as a way to experiment and do something new. So in this particular painting right here, I can tell you that there were definitely mistakes that I thought I made, or things that I wasn't thrilled with in the moment when I was painting. But I added some ink on top to make the centers stand out more. There wasn't a lot of contrast between these two purples. And so I made some additional things. I turned this into a sort of mixed media piece with some ink and watercolor, and I love this one. So I guess you could say this is a mistake. I think this particular painting, I was going for a flower, and I did not like how it was going. So I took my brush with water and just painted a sort of background and turned it into a landscape. I don't think when I sat down to paint this that this is what I had in mind. I'm pretty sure this was going to be a flower, and I didn't like it and turned it into something else. So embrace the mistakes is what I'd say. Let it continue your painting and not stop your painting. I'll put this one off to the side for tomorrow's roses as well. That's a great point, Enchantress. Your friend is turning 90. That's really nice that you're gonna make her a card. That's beautiful. Right, Frankie. It's a good way to think about it. It's just paper. Turn it into something else. Oh, this was another mistake. I know this was a mistake. There you go. I like parts of it. I kept it. It's not something that I'd say is a beautiful painting. I took it as a chance to experiment. Patience is, it might be up there. I don't know that it would be number one. I think you really have to enjoy what you're doing. I think that's number one. Go into a painting being in a sort of free, open mindset, right? That you're ready to go where the painting process takes you. So a little bit of an acceptance mindset. Patience, if you're doing a landscape, yes. Wait for your layer to dry and not add wet paint to a wet sky. I think that's what happened here. And it just got a little bit too much of a bleed and bloom. And so I added this little guy with a darker color next. Yes. But Frankie, sometimes I do a painting and there's no second layer. And so for me, I don't need to have patience in that. Yes, workshop piece for this one. And that's it. This one was a workshop piece. Everything else is just me painting. So I was going for a rainbow. This was just swatching, honestly. I was just swatching colors and I was doodling around with it. Getting towards the end here of my stack of paintings. I think this all started just by showing off some flowers, looking for some peonies. Would work great for mail art. The little ones. Yes. I think this was a workshop. It was working on a tile. I have watercolor grounds and I have painted on wood slices before. It's been a while since I've done that. But it doesn't have to be holiday art. I had one round slice. I made some trees in the background and then I put some bats and I made that a Halloween piece. It's my favorite holiday. Workshop pieces, well, when you have your 24 hours and you are able to rewatch, I think that's really nice because you can see it once and just see what they're doing, watch it unfold, and then if you have the time that you can pause and re-watch it and try and follow along. That I think is the best part of those workshops. I have painted pears before. Fruit I have done, not recently, but I've done that. And cherry blossoms, I do love painting cherry blossoms. I've done them quite a few times. This is one pile. I have 2 more piles just like it on my desk. So let's look through one more. This is older. So let's see what we got. This is in metallics. This one, handmade paper. Paints made from soil for that one. Some of these were painted in the winter and they were experiments. So this was another mistake painting. A mistake, I was going for some design and it just wasn't turning out the way I wanted it to. So I dumped in a lot of color. This was watercolor inks, and then I splashed on some metallics. And yes, dragon egg or galaxy egg or something. It turned into something that was really cute, and I ended up liking it. Some practice with peonies. Yes, happy accidents. Peonies with a filbert brush. Watercolor pencils, not a super fan of them, just figuring out how they work. Don't really like this one, but it's okay. It doesn't bother me. Just another painting session, right? So this is, I cut a lot of paper to this size in order to make those little individual cards for my students. So I had some extra paper, so I decided to cut them up small. And so I finished off with just fun, quick little paintings for myself. So that's why I have a few in this size. You can see this was probably April during the Easter holiday that I was filling these up. So I just painted in a color for a background and then added florals in different ways. I know this was a February color palette from KMS, so probably around February for that one. Watercolor ink. More watercolor ink. No, not really. I guess the color on top doesn't really look different because I don't paint it in such a light way that it's transparent. The white here happens to be like a almost squash-like color. It's made from soil. It was very pigmented. Otherwise, that would come out looking very pink because of the background color. But I didn't use a lot of water, so it was very saturated pigment. Enchantress. It's true. Painting is something that can change by the day if you let it be. So I was inspired by some pop art for this one, just trying something new. I don't particularly like this one either. There are parts of it I like, though. So again, on the idea of mistakes, I don't think of them as mistakes, just ways to explore something new. Although this bird was he was rough, I must say. I didn't sketch beforehand. The small ones, yes. Just be happy. If you like one of these, discount it for you because they're small. We can talk if you DM me. If you want like more than one of them, we can do something like that. Otherwise, it costs me about $5 to ship it to someone in the United States. So I'll give you more than one and we can do something like that. I can list these for you. So I do have a few more minis that I can dig up for you if you want to see them. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. This one is the last one I want to show you out of this pile. This one, I don't normally paint on something that's quite this big. I really like painting on a smaller scale. This was one of the first times I used the petal brush by Princeton, and it gave me this very soft, loose hydrangea type flower petals. I really like this one. And thank you. Even though they're not completely level, they're a little cockeyed. It's loose, so it kind of works. Okay. I think that's enough show and tell today. I can't even find the painting I did today. This is the one I painted with you live earlier today. This turned out to be quite a long TikTok live today, but I haven't seen you in a couple days, so it was nice to connect. I'll be on the Google Meet that's in the link in my bio tomorrow, painting roses with you. I'll show you my process start to finish, where I show you everything I do to make my roses. I'll walk through all the process of one, let you paint one, see if you have any questions, and then I'm thinking the third one will be dahlias. My dad's birthday's coming up, and I'll have family visiting, so I'm running out of time for the summer and painting live, but I'll be back here tomorrow at 4 p.m. if you can't miss the 10 a.m. So normal time will still happen. I don't mind painting twice in one day. So I hope you have a great day. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, but whenever it will be, I hope you enjoy your day. Thanks, Frankie. Thank you, everyone, for all your likes, the gifts, the wonderful comments. I'll be back again tomorrow to paint with you. I'll put honeysuckle and lavender on the list. Thanks, the chosen one. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Frankie. You too. Bye.